Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, this, seems to be a trend. It just keeps happening. More and more cards are being leaked. My goodness, if this one is real. Well, I'm going to be deathly afraid of Gollum because, my goodness, this is a very exciting, very powerful, very scary commander. It might not seem like a lot, again, very low to the ground. We shall jump into it, though, and I guess I should remind you that, hey, this is a leak. It has not officially been confirmed to my knowledge. We shall see if this is going to be real. It definitely seems real to me, but yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Regardless, let's go into the MTG.design custom version of this card. A big thank you to that fantastic website for existing. You're great. Gollum, Obsessed Stalker. I'm obsessed with this card. A 1/1 halfling horror with Skulk that costs 1 and a black. Again, low to the ground, tiny, tiny, tiny commander. That being said, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent dealt combat damage this game by a creature named Gollum, Obsessed Stalker, loses life equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. Okay, this is cool. This is awesome. Again, a tiny little commander. Again, just a little 1/1 for 2 mana. That is awful. That is terrible. But not, because this commander, again, has Skulk, can get through. Basically, again, Skulk means that you can't be blocked by bigger creatures with more power. So, yeah, Gollum can usually get through on pretty much all opponents. Of course, you can have some evasion built into the deck as well. We'll talk about that here in a little bit to ensure that you can get through. But basically, you're just marking each one of your foes. Once they are marked, there is no escaping this. Essentially, if you get to your end step with Gollum in play, yeah, your opponents are going to be losing an absurd amount of life. So, yeah, that can be quite fun. Also, keep in mind, I believe, rules lawyers out there, let me know if this works. I believe this would work, actually. If you've got 2 players with Gollum in play, this would have both trigger on each other, I would assume, because if they each dealt separate damage to 2 different players, Gollum says Stalker, it has the same name. Is it referring to the same card? I don't know. It seems very specific in the way this is worded. So if there's multiple Gollums in play, that could be quite interesting. Also, if you're playing against a clone deck, that could get really weird too. Regardless, yeah, all you need to do is get 1 hit on each opponent, and all of a sudden, all that life you can gain, and there are an absurd amount of ways to gain life in mono black, and something you can gain just a ton of life out of nowhere, you're going to be taking your opponents left and right. It's going to be quite fun, going to be quite fantastic. Again, I really hope that this one is real. Although, again, if it's on the opposite side of the table, I'm going to be really hoping that I either have a 1/1 to block this, or that, my other opponents are the first ones that get attacked by this. I will try not to look like a threat as much as I can. Because, yeah, Gollum, of course, can be quite deadly and can go really quick. And speaking of quick, yeah, haste is something you might want to consider this one. Just getting it down early. There aren't too many ways to grant haste in mono black, but yeah, Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, those kinds of cards, swing right away and have fun hitting your opponents and making them cry. So yeah, I really hope this one is real. Comment below with your thoughts on that. Regardless, in this episode, of course, like my other quick takes, I'm going to go through the budget buys and the pricier picks. The pricier picks are going to be cards outside of my budget. More than $1, budget buys less than $1 within my budget. Regardless, all these cards will be in a card listing in the description below. Consider picking up some of those cards if you believe this card to be real. If not, maybe wait until it is confirmed or not confirmed. Now, though, let's jump into those budget buys. Again, cards that are within my budget, less than $1, and it's a lot of fantastic ones that can do some incredible things with this commander. I mean, just picture this. Ready? Blood Tithe. An incredibly simple card. Sorcery for 4 mana, 3 and a black. Each opponent loses 3 life. You gain life with life lost this way. Let's assume you've got all 3 opponents in play still. Cool. Every opponent loses 3 life. You gain 9. Now, normally that would be the end of the story. That being said, with this commander, that is definitely not the end of the story. If, again, you've dealt 1 damage, again, with all these things, I'm just going to assume you've gotten through on each opponent, okay? Because that's very easy with this low-to-the-ground skulking commander. Let's say you've got 1 damage each opponent from Gollum. Cool. Now, they're all marked, and at the end step, if you've got Gollum, they're each going to lose 9 life, because that's the life you gained this turn with just this one simple spell. So, they lose 3 plus 9, 12 mana for 4. 12 life lost for 4 mana. Gross. Next up. Zurin Orb. This is an incredible finisher for you. An artifact for 0. Costs you literally nothing to get down. Sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. Now, this can save you in a pinch in certain decks out there that actually might want to utilize lands of the graveyard. Sure, that's not really what this is about. This can save you in a pinch just by gaining life, but also, again, hey, your life gain is your opponent's life loss. Yeah, if your opponents, say, are like 10 life at the end of the game, and you're like, well, I think I can protect Gollum, and I should mention that you should have ways to protect Gollum to make sure it stays in play to the end step. When you can basically guarantee to do that, yeah, take your opponents out. Sacrifice 5 land. Who cares? It's the end of the game. Take them all out, gain 10 life. Yeah, that can be a great, fantastic play. And again, 0 mana Zern Orb. What's not to love about that? Moving on, Death Greeter. This is deadly. 1/1 human shaman for a single black mana. Just 1 black mana. Whenever another creature is put in the graveyard from play, you may gain 1 life. Any creature, not just your own, any creature, 1 mana. This on the field equals, hey, oh, someone board wiped? Cool. I just gained a ton of life. As long as you can get Golem back out or keep Golem play until your end step, yeah, your opponent's going to lose an absurd amount of life. Basically, 1 life for every single creature on the board, kind of like a reverse Fumigate, which is hilarious and awesome. Next up, though, an even bigger way, Falkenrath Noble, okay? This is basically, we'll talk about another card here in a bit, a budget version of that. 2/2 flyer for 4 mana. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player lose 1 life, you gain 1 life. Whenever any creatures die again, including your opponents, cool, you're gaining life, but you're also draining someone. So basically, you can really take one player down quite quickly. I mean, basically, they're doubling up that life loss for them, right? Essentially, you're gaining life, also making that player lose life. You can spread it around if you really want to, but a way to really target someone when you need to. Next up, Revenge of Ravens. This is an amazing attack deterrent slash massive punishing effect too. It's quite funny. Enchantment for 4 mana. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Now, normally the life loss would be the deterrent, but now it's the life loss and the life gain. So if a player is attacking you, with each creature, let's say they attack you with 7 creatures. Cool, good for you. You lose 7, I gain 7. End of the turn, I'm going to be draining all my opponents again. Assuming Golem, I almost said Smeagol. Assuming Golem gets there on each opponent, then therefore, all my opponents lose 7. That's an extra 21 life lost in total between all my opponents. So 28 in total just for 1 player attacking me. This can be a punishing effect for everyone. I absolutely love it. And yeah, the other players at the table might draw the ire of that player, or that player might draw the ire of the other players at the table. There we go, for actually doing that. Next up, Sangromancer. This can gain you an absurd amount of life so quickly, it's incredible. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may gain 3 life. So again, Death Greeter, which I talked about at the beginning, is incredible, right? Now, this is just like Fumigate reverse times 3. Again, any creature dies that opponent controls, you're gaining an absurd amount of life. 3 per creature. A board wipe just basically is end of game, most likely. Whenever opponent discards a card, you can gain 3 life. So if someone plays a wheel deck, yeah, your opponents are going to be gone as well. And of course, there is 1 wheel in mono black, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that's not the focus of this. The focus is usually the creatures dying. But sure, some players are discarding. Great. Yeah, oh, you cycled a card. Great. Good for you. Lose some life. Oh my goodness. Yeah, great finisher, though. Of course, Gary, Gray Merchant of Asphodel. 2/4 ETBs. Each opponent loses X life for extra Ocean of Black. You gain life for life lost this way. This is a very easy KO on all of your opponents with very, very minimal setup. Does not take much at all. Again, let's say your Devotion of Black is 6, all right? And that's a low amount. That just is this plus your commander plus 3 other pips, right? That's so easy to get to. Again, you are in mono black. Let's just say it's 6. All your opponents lose 6 life. You gain 18 life, again, assuming you've got 3 opponents. That's 24 life in total, right? Your opponents have lost the 6. End of the turn, they're each going to lose 18. That is absurd. And again, that is a low bar. That just is like over half your opponent's life, and that's only with 6 devotion. This is so much easier to get to a bigger amount. And of course, in mono black, you've got feign death type effects, ways to get your creatures right back out of the graveyard after they die. So again, it's a great way to protect your commander, number 1. Number 2, it's a great way to use and abuse ETBs like this one. So again, if an opponent's like, okay, well, sheesh, oh, I gotta take out the board. Okay, I'll wipe the board. And you're like, okay, cool. Let's get Gary back out. Awesome. Have fun. Moving on, Pontiff of Blight. An incredible card. One that can just do so much work for you. 2/7 Zombie Cleric with Extort. That says other creature control of Extort in a reminder. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay Orzhov. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. Now, for those of you that are going to comment and below, they're like, hey, wait, there's Orzhov on there. You can't use that in the deck. That's reminder text. It's a weird rule, but yeah, since it is reminder text, that does not count. And yes, you can use this card in a mono black deck or even a mono white deck. So basically, all your creatures have extort. That means when you cast a single spell, let's say you've got 5 creatures on the battlefield, you can pay 5 black mana and drain your opponents each 1 life, gaining 15 life. Going to your end step, draining your opponents that much. So yeah, basically, again, 20 life loss just for that. For casting a single spell, again, could just be a Death Creator 1 mana spell, pay 5 more mana, drain your opponents 20 life in total. Absurd. I think I did the math right on that. Let me know in the console if I didn't, though. Regardless, another really funny way to gain a ton of life is Soul Conduit. This one's hilarious because your opponents might think they've got you on the ropes, but with this or like a Profane Transfusion, a life swap type effect is incredible. Pay 6, tap 2 target players, exchange life totals. Now let's say that you're at 10 life and opponent's at 40 life. Oh no, I'm losing. All of a sudden you utilize this, you swap life totals. Yes, that does count as life gain. Exchanging life totals does count as life gain. You went from 10 to 40, you gained 30 life. Have fun at the other turn, draining 30 life from your opponents. Again, they might think they have you on the ropes. They might think you're done, but all of a sudden, you take this out, you actually, flip life totals, or, you Profane Transfusion. There's a decent amount of ways out there to exchange life totals in mono black. Do that, take your opponents out, and really flip the script. Oh my goodness, I love this card. Warlock class. Beginning of your end step, a creature died this turn, each opponent lose 1 life. That's just nice. Nice little effect. The second one is nice too, but the level 3 is what we really care about. The beginning of your end step, each opponent loses a life, equal to the life they lost this turn. Basically doubling up Gollum's effect. So again, if you gain 10 life, end step trigger, you can stack them however you want. Golem is going to trigger first, and you say, hey, Golem, hey, drain your opponents for 10. Cool, do that. And then this can trigger, and you're like, oh, cool, yeah, each opponent's going to lose 10 life on top of that. So instead of just doing 10, you're doing 20. You double up that life loss. Really, really fun. Moving on, Marauding Blight Priest. This is yet another way to take advantage of all your instances of life gain and drain your opponents even further. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So again, the more and more instances of life gain you have, the more effective this becomes. And in combination with Golem, this is just very, very deadly. And finally, yeah, when it comes to, well, drawing a bunch of cards, hey, Well Lost Dream is a great effect. Whenever you gain life, you can pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Gained. If you do, you draw X cards. An absurd amount of card draw with this. Again, basically, you're going to be gaining life after life after life with this deck. Just keep paying, just keep drawing, have fun, dig down into your deck, get the exact cards that you need. And I was mistaken, actually. There's one more budget buy, Prowler's Helm. I just need to mention that, yes, you have a low to the ground 1/1 commander that has Skulk. Usually it can get through on all your opponents, but if your opponent happens to have something that can block it, make sure you got some things in the deck to actually make it basically unblockable. Prowler's Helm, equipped creature can't be blocked except by walls. Now, ironically, if you're going up against a walls deck, they probably have 0 power, at least some of them do, so then you really can't get through. Highly unlikely you're going up against any walls, though, unless you're playing against, like, Arcades the Strategist. Outside of that, yeah, you probably are going up against no one that has walls. This is basically just unblockability for your commander. Get through on all your opponents, get them marked, keep Golem in play, drain your opponents when you gain life. And now that we've talked about all the budget buys, though, let's move on to the pricier picks. And as a reminder, all these are in a link in the description below. Regardless, Exquisite Blood. Oh my goodness, an enchantment for 5 mana that does so much work for you and is $30. Whenever opponent loses life, you gain that much life. This is an insane card in Commander because, hey, you got 3 opponents, life's going to be lost, even if they are dealt damage. That is life loss. Yeah, so if opponents are attacking each other, if you're attacking opponents, that's life loss. You gain life. And of course, yeah, you're basically just saying, okay, yeah, I'm draining my opponents with certain spells, certain ways to drain them. When they lose life, you gain life. And at the end of the turn, again, Golem says, hey, you gained a bunch of life. Let's drain them. And of course, on top of that, this combos very easily with a couple of things. First up, Sanguine Bond. Yep, this is a 2-card combo that basically just wins you the game. If, essentially, you gain any life or any opponent loses life, that's game over. Because this says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Then that triggers the other one, which triggers the other one. Basically, infinite life drain for all your opponents. So you don't even need to get to Gollum. And poor Gollum just sitting over there be like, hey, I did all the work. Anyways, Vito, Thorn of Duskrose is yet another great one. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So again, basically Sanguine Bond, but on a creature. On top of that, by paying 3 black, creature control gain lifelink until end of turn. This is huge. This is massive. Swing with your creatures, gain a ton of life, drain an opponent, and also go to your end step and have Gollum do the exact same thing, drain them even further. Next up, though, Hemorrhoid's Archive. Oh my goodness. The amount of work this does for you is incredible. If you would gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Yeah, take advantage of that. By gaining twice as much life, you're also draining twice as much life again at the end of your turn with Gollum. On top of that, if you draw a card except the first one you draw 2 cards instead. That's just nice to double your card draw. So again, double the value from card draw, double the value from life gain, and double the pain from life gain as well. Speaking of which, a quicker way than Warlock class to get there is Wound Reflection. Again, Wound Reflection is a great card. Warlock class is too. Unfortunately, this one is not quite budget friendly at $10. At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life for life they lost this turn. This counts every single end step, not just your own. So keep that in mind. And I think I might have misspoke when I talked about Warlock class and opponents attacking each other. Yeah, this one takes that into account though, because again, every single end step, again, basically doubles up your commander's drain. It's absolutely incredible. Next up, a very funny card in a deck like this, Stream Perdition. Hey, it's a 0/13 plant with Defender. Great, good blocker, but also you can tap and exchange target opponent's life total with this creature's toughness. So essentially, hey, oh, you're at 40? Let's take you down to 13. Goodbye. And by taking them down to 13, of course, you will now have a giant blocker, which is nice, but also more importantly, they're well within range for you to take them out very easily with your commander. Again, like I talked about, that very first card did 12, right? Essentially, that one did 12. So very easy to get to 13 in a lot of different ways. Moving on. Make it even easier for yourself. Soren Markov. Yeah, this is a bit of a salty card for some out there. -3, target opponent's life total becomes 10. The other ones are nice too, but yeah, dropping this and saying, you're at 10 is hilarious. It's just a way to say, you know what? Yeah, you're going to get taken out because I'm dropping this. I already gained some life this turn, probably about 10 or so, maybe more. And then I drain you with my commander. You are gone. So you can take someone from a position of power where they are like, oh yeah, I'm at 100 life. You can't touch me. And then all of a sudden they're just gone. So yeah, a great card for a deck like this. Moving on. Blood Artist. Non-budget, although it's $1.31 now. That is surprising, actually. Keep reprinting it, Wizards. Get it underneath $1. Basically, a better version of Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. Yeah, just 2 mana instead of 4. Next up, Exsanguinate. Oh my goodness. So this one, if you got a bunch of mana at the late game, you're going to be draining a lot and gaining a bunch of life. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life, your life lost this way. Again, basically Gary kind of essentially, but an X version of that. So yeah, drain for a ton, gain a ton, drain even further once you get to your end step. Next up, Aetherflex Reservoir. This is a great card. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain life for each spell you cast this turn. Again, cast spell after spell after spell, gain more and more and more life. Also, pay 50 life, deal 50 damage to our creature player. You're going to be gaining a ton of life. This is a great way to say, hey, I'm at like 80 life. I'm willing to go down to 30 if I have to. Do not upset me, player over there. If you do anything to try to stop me, I will take you out of the game right now because you can activate this whenever you want. So again, this is just a way to kind of hold this over your opponent's heads and say, you try to stop me, you're out. You don't try to stop me, you're going to lose anyways. This is a great card for a deck like this. And finally, very expensive, very effective, Shield of the Apocalypse, gross. 4/5 Death Touching, Phyrexian Praetor. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. When your opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So you're going to be draining your opponents a lot throughout the game. Yeah, outside of just their draw step players and commander love drawing cards, and now you're punishing them for it. On top of that, you're punishing your opponents whenever you draw a card because you're gaining 2 life. So again, let's say you draw a step card, you sign in blood yourself or whatnot, you draw 2 more. Cool, you just drain your opponents each 6 life because you gain 6 life that turn. Gross. So yeah, this is an incredible card. Overall, I am really excited about this one. I really hope that this one is real because again, it seems like we really haven't gotten that, like, you know, really impactful, scary Gollum. And oh my goodness, this is just frightening. This is, hey, yeah, I'm tiny, but that does not matter because if I hit you once, I've got your number and I'm taking you out. That is an absolutely incredible design. I love it. Not guaranteed to get through your opponents, but basically, and yeah, you can have other ways to make it unblockable. So get through, hit your opponents, gain a ton of life, drain them a ton. I love this design. I really hope this one's real. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. Do you think it's real? And yeah, let me know if you think other leaks are coming because apparently there's just leaks left and right. So yeah, leaks, spoilers, quick takes coming up. Make sure you're staying to this channel for those. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. So let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.